What's up, guys? How are you? Happy Tuesday. Welcome into another, a post-Christmas version of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt. And obviously, I am not in Las Vegas. I am in my home of Andover, where my mom and stepdad live. And this is where I'm going to be for a couple of days. So you're going to see like the hostage style video, and probably the audio is going to sound different. And the podcast drop is going to come out a little bit differently, like I mentioned before. I'm not going to be the one posting it. It's going to come out later in the night because I'm going to tape this right around 9 o'clock Pacific time, if I can. Sorry, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So we still have the game going on right now between the Niners and the Ravens. Hell of a game going on there. So this is going to be sort of how the pod's going to go this week. It's going to be a little bit of a different world. I have one college football bowl game to give you. I have one NBA play that I like for today, but because I'm not going to be able to do as much research and I'm not going to watch as many games and be around to watch as many games, it's going to be a smaller slate of games, a smaller card each day, which might be a good thing considering how cold I have been because we went 0-4 and then 0-2. We've lost 6 straight bets here, although that was last week. So we started off this week down a little over 2 units, so nothing we can't overcome. The Sunday slate knocked out all the earnings we had, so pretty much a flat week last week. I'll do a full recap of December at some point over the next day or two. I'll tell you exactly what December has looked like. I'm a little scared to do it. It's going to be ugly. December has not been a good month by any means. I've given back at least 10 units, if not 15 units so far here during the month. It's been tough, but we had them to give. Okay, so that's part of the roller coaster ride of this stuff. And if you're just joining the podcast and just coming in now, you're like, this guy's awful. Don't blame you. You want to fade the bets, go right ahead. I put the parlays out on Christmas because it was for fun. And I do this from time to time to remind you guys why parlaying is bad and why straight bets are far better. Because the Nuggets, well, they won, but the Knicks beat the Bucks, so the NBA parlay died. The Eagles covered. The Ravens are they're winning right now in the second quarter, so they're going to cover 16. So the first leg of the 3-leg 10-point teaser will go down. That'll lose because of what happened with the Chiefs losing to the Raiders. How did that happen? I can't believe it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, the number that I can't get over is the fact that since Taylor Swift has been showing up to Chief games, the Chiefs are 3-4. Now, it's got nothing to do with Taylor. It's just a fun stat. It's a fun thing to look at and be like, oh boy, getting tough there. Mahomes on the road, finally, in the postseason. Let's see what the guy does on the road. If we're talking about the GOAT status and whatnot, you got to win a road playoff game for the first time in your career. Let's see if he can go ahead and do that. Before I give you the picks for today, let's tell you about our friends at Omaha Steaks. Here's the thing, guys. The promotion went so well before Christmas that they're going to keep it going here. You guys can start off the new year with a bang. Big savings at omahasteaks.com with their end of the season event going on right now. You guys can stock up on all your favorites, 50% off site-wide, 50% off all the incredible steaks, the legendary Butcher's Cut Filets. You can sink your teeth into the Butcher's Cut Top Sirloin. Just go to omahasteaks.com, use the promo code JUICE, and you're going to save an extra $30 off your order. So this is the same offer we had before, but now it is the end of the year savings event, and we're going to get close to the end of the year. It's gone well. You guys have reacted well. You've purchased this. I appreciate the support. 50% off site-wide, plus you score an extra $30 off with the promo code JUICE. This is all backed by their unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. Go to omahasteaks.com, use the code JUICE at checkout to save 50% off plus $30 off at checkout. All right, let's start in the NBA. We've been sort of, Rockets and the Pacers have been kind of the two teams I've been watching closely, and they play tonight. Rockets are at home, Pacers on the road. Pacers are struggling. They're really struggling. The Pacers have now lost, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 7 games straight up. The Pacers have lost. Lost to Orlando at home. They lost to Memphis by 13 on the road. They beat Charlotte, but then that snapped a 4-game losing streak, losing to the Clippers, T-Wolves, Wizards, and Bucks. Last two games, home against Dallas, on the road against New Orleans, both games won by Houston. Houston against the number at home this year is 11-2-1. Indiana is 6-8 on the road. Against their own conferences, the Houston Rockets have been crushing the Western Conference. Not so much for the Indiana Pacers, although this is a cross-conference matchup. They're just 12-10. I really like Houston here. As long as the three-point shots are falling, they're one of the best teams in the NBA at home. We backed them last time. They did not cover. They actually lost the game outright. We took them. Who did we take them against? No, that was against Dallas, right? And they won by 26 points. I can't remember that game. I think that's right, but I'm pretty sure I was on the -8.5 in that game. Was that part of the teaser? I think we teased it down, right? In that game, and they killed Dallas, won by 26 points. They're back at home here. Yes, they didn't cover against Atlanta. They lost the game by 7 as 3-point favorites before that. Maybe that was the game I was on. But before that, I mean, Memphis at home, laying 10, won by 13. Laying 9 against San Antonio, they won by 11. This is a 2.5-point number. This is probably because the books, much like the Bucks and the Knicks, it's like, okay, the Knicks were due to win. They had lost 13 consecutive games against the Bucks. The pros knew that, so the number had to be low. It was 3. Knicks won the game outright. You could say this is the same thing, Matt. This is signaling, take Indiana here, but Houston at home, laying 2.5. I'm taking the Rockets. 1.1 units down. Rockets -1.5 here in the NBA. Second bet, guaranteed rate bowl, Kansas versus UNLV. I mean, look, I'm telegraphing this, right? We've been betting on UNLV all year. They're 10-3 ATS. So much of bowl season is who wants to be there? Who wants to be a part of this game? And UNLV is playing in a bowl game for the first time in forever, and they're doing it in driving distance of Vegas. It's in Phoenix. Now, it's in the baseball stadium in Phoenix. It's at the Diamondbacks ballpark, which is going to be kind of wonky, but it's still a game in which we're going to see UNLV playing in a bowl game up against Kansas out of the Big 12. KU 7-5 ATS on the year. They were just 2-3 though away from home. They were 5-2 at home. They were a much better team in front of their home crowd. Although against Cincinnati in the last game of the regular season, they won by 33, laying 7.5 points. They were at home against Kansas State, catching 7. They lost by 4. They covered there. They covered against Iowa State this year. They covered against Oklahoma this year. I'm not going to debate that Kansas is the better football team and that Kansas should win this game. But at 13.5 points, DraftKings has this at 13.5 points. This is too many points. I think UNLV is going to hang here. I think they'll be in this game. They're going to lose, but I think they lose the game by 7 to 10 points, and I'll take the 13.5 points here. It won't stun me if the Rebels win this game. I'm just saying this. I think it's worth the sprinkle to take UNLV, just given how I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think it's worth it just on a flyer perspective to say, all right, could the Rebels beat KU? Yes. Small sprinkle on the money line, but this has been one of the best teams all year long against the number, and they've just shown so much this year. They're such a proud program right now to be able to represent the university campus in the wake of the shooting that happened on campus. It's going to be a lot of emotion in this football game. I just don't think KU is going to be able to match it. And I think KU's got more talent, but I think UNLV just simply wants to be at the bowl game more. I'm taking the Rebels plus 13.5. If it gets to 14, I like it even more. You can buy it up to 14 if you want, but it's 13.5 at DraftKings. UNLV plus 13.5 up against Kansas in the Phoenix Bowl Guaranteed Rate Bowl. And you can also play the over. I'll have a personal play on the over in this game. I mean, UNLV is 8-5 this year to the over, 4-2 away from home over. KU was 2-3, but that's because the KU numbers were gigantic this year. 63, 66.5, 64.5, 60.5, 60.5. We saw similar numbers, but like against Boise in the last game in the Mountain West Conference Championship game, the total was 62 and it went over. This total is 67.5. It opened up at 63.5. It's been bet all the way up to 67.5. And that's why I'm not going to make it official. I will bet this, but I don't like it as much because there was a much better number earlier in a couple of weeks ago when this bowl game got announced. The first number to bet the over was a much better number than this one. If you want to tease this, I don't recommend doing same game teasers in college football or for bowl games, but you want to do a 6-point teaser, you can pull the total down 67.5 down to 61.5, which is below the opening number, and then give UNLV 19.5 points and say, okay, just don't get completely blown out by KU. That's one way of playing this if you want to do it, but I'm just going to take, officially, I'm taking the 13.5 points, but also I like the over 67.5 points as well. All right, 2 plays for us here on a Tuesday. First, Rockets -2.5 at home against Indiana. Second, UNLV in their bowl game against Kansas in Phoenix, +13.5 on the Rebels. Hopefully, Santa was good for you guys. Hopefully, you guys will keep listening, watching, and being a part of this community. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt. Every morning, the Daily Juice podcast, always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.